you have to make decisions like, okay, do we want to provide medical service or do we want to start chopping limbs off?
Oh my god. Dude, I played Dwarf Fortress on the regular.
There you go. Exactly. Right up that alley.
Losing is fun.
I got dibs on the robot.
Robot with legs.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see where that goes.
Or the gun is gun with legs.
Gun with legs.
Gun with legs.
Awesome.
That is fantastic. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 36th episode of the theretrorents Retro Gaming Podcast. I am Al.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead, Nick.
I'm Nick.
Kyle will not be joining us, as you could tell. It fucked up our entire flow. But he is at work tonight. But we are joined by somebody special. A surprise return.
I am Travis.
Woohoo!
Hello.
Travis.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, brother? How have you been?
I have been pretty freaking good, to be honest.
Good.
Lots of really good things going on. Life has kind of taken me in a little bit of a different direction since the last time, last time I was on here. So very happy about that.
That's good.
And yeah, so I'm very excited to be back and chat some games with you guys.
It's good to have you back, man. Good to have you back. I'm glad you're doing well and life is good. Yeah, I'll just say I'm doing okay. I'm waiting for certain things and see what happens.
Yep. No, I hear you, man. I hear you.
But yeah, how you been, Nick? I know you got a bunch to talk about, you and Travis, as we move forward. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Like one feels like it's been forever. Like
it kind of has. It's been a few weeks.
You had the Christy Marks interview, which was like totally awesome. Go back and watch and listen to it. Anyone who hasn't done that already.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounded like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Actually, geez, I should have mentioned that. Yeah, our last episode, for those that did hear it, I actually got to sit down and chat with Christy Marks, who is a former game designer at Sierra, but she also has a ton of screenwriting credits. Like, she worked on G.I. Joe. She's the creator of Gem and the Holograms. She's she did she was like the main story writer and editor for Conan the Adventurer, which was my favorite cartoon growing up. And just an all around badass. Like, I'm telling you, like, I walked away from that interview going, that woman could kick somebody's ass. Like, she's just, she has such a determined and wickedly creative attitude. It was just very cool to hear, I mean, all the stuff she's done, the stuff she's been through, the people that she's worked with. I mean, some real legends, not just in the gaming industry, but I mean, this is why you guys got to listen to the interview. She actually wrote comic storyboards for Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
Dude, she's a legend. So if you haven't heard our previous episode, the Christy Marks interview, you gotta go back and check that out. She was incredible, and I hope I hope she has something to promote in the next few months, because I'd love to talk to her again. She was awesome.
Yeah,
that is really cool.
Super kicking. But yeah, catching up over the past month or so. So still playing a lot of Sea of Thieves. It actually hit year 1. Wow. Games like still kicking, doing good. A lot of stuff on the horizon. They got the arena coming up at the end of April here, which is kind of like their new PvP. Like, it's always been PvP, but this is kind of a very concentrated,
like a focused.
PvP. I wouldn't say it's battle royale, but it's very much like instead of like sailing 15 minutes to try and find someone to shoot at, you're going to be shooting, within.
Now there's going to be 99 of you in a small pond.
Everybody's in rowboats. No, but it's doing good, and having a blast with that.
It looks like they've added a ton.
Oh yeah, I mean they've added so much. Like, if you haven't poked your head in since launch, they've put in so much. I mean, you got sharks, you got skeleton ships, you got a totally new volcano zone, whole bunch of new cosmetics. A whole bunch of great stuff, and if anything, now is like the best time than ever to begin to jump in, and or maybe at the end of April again when they put in this arena and they got a whole new like campaign story mode that they're going to be putting in. I think soon after, called Tall Sales. Like
I'm gonna have to check that
Tall
out.
Sales.
All right, can I say something real quick about this whole thing?
Yeah.
I don't understand why we can't get these open world survival-ish games like this from the beginning. Like every single one of these that comes out is like, yeah, we're going to give you the absolute bare bones at the very beginning. And then maybe in 6 months to a year, we're going to make this game insane.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. Like the state it's in now is what it really should have launched with in the first place. Like obviously, I was sticking with it because it was you kind of make your own fun with it a little bit too. But yeah, like at the very beginning, it was pretty barren in terms of stuff to do and all the extras, so to speak. Now it's like the world feels very much alive, and it's like there's a whole bunch of things on the sea, the sharks and the skelly ships now and whatnot. Even like the foggy shroud that kind of moves, and it gives like this cool atmospheric thing to it. It's like most of this should have been tried to have been in at launch, but I'm going to guess without knowing it for sure, but I'm going to guess it had something to do with like Microsoft like saying like you got to get something out the door.
Oh, I'm sure they ran out of time.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
So like,
I think it's a mix of like
out. Yeah, and that's what we got at launch. And then over the past year, they've been able to add this stuff, and then here we are.
I mean, all things considered, I think to your question, Travis, this is a good example of it. I think they release a framework, and it becomes pretty obvious whether or not that framework is going to work. And I think everybody that played Sea of Thieves, myself included, said the tools are there. Like, it works great. It was fun, for a night to tool around with Nick, like, Kyle and I did. We had a really good time. The physics worked great. It wasn't real buggy. It was just, there wasn't much to do, but what was there was solid. Like, aside from the connection issues, I think on day one, I do remember we had a pretty solid handful of hours of fun. Like, didn't run into any glitches, and I mean, so I guess they got the engine out there without much of a car around it, but it did work well. And I think. Sorry,
go ahead. Finish up.
But no, but I think to your point, I feel that I don't like the trend that I do see, which is that is becoming the norm, where we're getting very incomplete games at launch, and then, they get better. I mean, I'll talk about it a little bit more on my turn, but like, granted, it's not a survival game, but when you look at the slew of AAA games that have been complete disappointments, Fallout 76, Anthem, which I was hot on for like 2 days, and then I realized like shit, there really ain't much to do, and then it started shutting off my computer, so I said fuck that. That's just what I need. My new freaking super PC fucking bricked like they did PS4s. But yeah, I mean, and then the Division 2 hits, and the Division 2, in my opinion, is a wicked solid release, and I've never really been into shoot 'em ups and team shooters and looter shooters, but this one's doing it right, I think, and it's just another example of you can release a full game and not have to tack stuff on later. So I'm hoping it serves as kind of an example.
But you could make the argument that Division 2 is basically built on the backbone of Division 1, which
100%
failed completely horribly.
True.
No, that's very true.
Bad one at launch too.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, my thing is, okay, yeah, we get this kind of framework, we get this this decent engine coming up when they release a game such as like No Man's Sky or Ark or Sea of Thieves. But why are they not doing this like in a more early access style instead of charging people $60 for bare bones? That's insane.
A good question.
That to me, that just, I don't know, it's mind blowing to me that people buy into that when they know how it is already and they still keep doing it. I don't know.
I don't know. I think some of that lies on the publishing companies too, because they push it as a complete game. Like, oh, this is just what you're seeing in beta, and it's the wait till release. And then we've been fed that line a lot. But I think I think if it's one thing this year has taught us with Fallout 76 and Anthem, is I think gamers as a whole are going to be a lot more wary about this now. I mean, shit, I know I will be. There's going to be very few games, AAA or not, that I'm going to be getting on the day of release. It just probably won't happen.
But you know, we've been saying that for like the past 10 years. Ever since every crap show that comes out, people have been saying, "Oh, I'm never going to reserve again. I'm not going to buy EA again."
I just don't.
They still do it,
but I don't think there's been as spectacular a shit show as there was in the past few months. I think this really stood out.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I think it's it is getting worse and worse. Like, yes, it's been going on for years, but it was always limited to maybe one game out of the year might hit that horrible mark, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's like, but it was never really enough to say like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna do ever get from them again. But I have noticed over the past couple of years, more and more of the gaming circles I've been in are starting to say exactly that. I'm feeling very disappointed by X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And definitely, and we've kind of talked about this in our previous podcast where it's the gaming industry as a whole could be at a breaking point of not only in how they produce stuff, because obviously they're pushing their teams to the very edge to the breaking point. There's always that that launch crunch and all that.
Sure.
But apparently, it's becoming too reliant. There was an article I think just today in Kotaku. Talking about Anthem, and they were very dependent on that, quote unquote BioWare magic to come through in the clutch, and I always refer to the things if you're constantly at red alert, it's not red alert.
Yeah, no, and that's
and if you're constantly in crunch, that's not crunch. That's something completely different. You're just wearing your people out.
Right. And I think you see that with Anthem, and in BioWare's case, Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda. I mean, that's two huge misses, one after the other. So, yeah, just interesting stuff. But,
yep.
What's everybody been playing?
Well, I personally have been actually playing a decent chunk of games, more than I think I'm used to talking about whenever I was on the RetroRents.
Yes, sir.
My tally is up to actually 4, which is very uncommon for me. I am currently, as far as the new stuff that I'm playing, I'm pretty addicted to Final Fantasy 14.
Is that the online one?
Yes.
I haven't played that.
It actually has one of the better crafting systems out there, and
I know you likes the craft.
Right, and I am all about crafting when it comes to MMOs, and Final Fantasy 14 really does it right. Probably one of the best, if not the best, crafting system out there right now.
Better than EQ2?
I would say I put it on par with EQ2.
Oh, I'm interested now.
It's because it's more game-like. It's more subsystem-like rather than just click, craft, click, craft, click, craft.
Ooh.
So there's balance involved in it, which is really cool.
I'm very interested now.
Yeah, there's actually a free trial going on now if you want to check it out. I can shoot you the URL.
I think I got a code in Twitch Prime 1 month for it.
Oh yeah, you can use that.
Okay.
But yeah, if you do start a character on there, if you start it up and play for a little bit, start on Behemoth. That's the server I'm on.
All right, I'll let you know.
Cool. And to counteract the nothing but crafting of Final Fantasy 14, I have been playing Elder Scrolls Online as well.
I love ESO.
Which it's cool. It's really cool. The crafting sucks.
Yeah, but it's the best theme park ever.
Yeah, it's really nice. The combat's really fun, and I'm really looking forward to getting a bit deeper in that. I'm not very far. I think my top level character is only 10, but it's still a lot of fun. So I'm hoping that it stays fun throughout the rest of the.
You're
adventure.
In for a treat. The lore and story in that is insane, to the point where one of the podcasts that I'm completely addicted to is all about ESO lore. It's called the Lore Seekers Podcast.
Okay.
And they do chunks every week. They go over one specific facet of the game, and they talk about it for an hour. And Jibs and Cash, the hosts, their knowledge of Tamriel lore is just amazing. And it's if you're kind of into ESO, by the time you finish an episode of that, you're going to be like, oh my god, I got to go in there and find this. Like, it just immediately pushes you into the lore of the game. It's very cool.
That is cool. Yeah, I've actually been listening to Tales of Tamriel lately. I listened to a few episodes of that going up to Boston, and that's a good one as well. Cool. One of the guys that's part of Good for Gaming does that cast, Lotus of Doom.
Oh, Lotus! All right, I gotta check that out.
That one. Yeah, it's pretty good. Let's see, what else have I been doing? As far as my retro stuff, I've been back into PS2 gaming like crazy, like usual.
Nice.
First game I've been playing through is Shining Force Neo, which it's not. When you hear Shining Force, you think of strategy RPG. This is an action RPG that is completely not at all related to the other Shining games, as far as I can tell. It does have two characters in there, Max and Kane, which are the hero and the antagonist of the original Shining Force game. But I don't think it really has anything to do with it.
Other than a name drop.
Right.
Disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, the game's not bad, but it definitely does not feel like a Shining series game whatsoever.
No, they're just playing on the name to sell copies. I don't like that.
Well, I mean, there's a whole Shining line of games. I mean, there's probably like 15 or so games in that line.
Yeah, that's true.
But when you think of Shining Force, you want Shining Force.
Yeah, exactly.
But whatever, it's all right. I'm still having fun playing it. It's a game that I haven't beaten yet, so I'll keep digging until I'm done.
Cool.
And then finally, I have been playing a whole boatload of Disgaea.
Nice.
I have finally beat the game.
Oh, really?
Finally. Yes, I finally beat it. And I will be. I'm actually in the middle of a stupid challenge to get myself up to level 9,999 with one of my characters. Yeah, but it's fun. I'm learning a lot about the game and how things work by doing that, which is good because I'm going to start playing the second one soon, and that knowledge will help.
Well, that's true.
Plus, I suck at strategy RPGs, so this is just helping me get better. Oh yeah, I'm terrible at them.
Dude, if you beat Disgaea, If you beat Disgaea, you don't suck at strategy RPGs.
Dude, I leveled up a ninja who can't be hit by anything. Like literally, he was not getting hit by anything whatsoever.
That's called strategy.
He was the only character I brought out during the final battle.
All right, fair enough.
Like he's so fast, I can't even.
But strategy games is using your exploits to the best of your ability.
That is true. It is true. But yeah, so that's been it for me. How about you guys?
Well, I mentioned before, I've been playing a bunch of Division 2, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. I've played, actually the other night, me and Holy Headshot played for a while. Chris from Everyday, well, used to be the host of Everyday Gamers. Played with him for a while. RoboPig was on with us for a bit. And we had a lot of fun there. But I've mainly been soloing, and I find that I can solo. And in the weirdest way, I'm actually good at this game, which kind of shocks me because I normally suck at shooters. But I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I don't play a ton, but I'm level 15. So I'm halfway to the max level, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the story. And what I think I love most about it is all the dynamic events. It's kind of what I was always hoping Red Dead 2 was going to be, where like I could be walking towards a mission and all of a sudden I see, one of the street gangs of DC is about to execute a hostage, do a public execution. So I just, dash off to the side alley and sneak up and ambush them, and the hostage is like, oh, thanks, and gives you a little reward, and you get some faction points. But it was just a random dynamic event. Other times I'm just escorting groups coming back with food and supplies, making sure they don't get attacked, and I don't know, it just kind of gets me into the RP of it a little bit. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. And then on the retro side, I've actually gone back and I've been working on my, I guess, yearly playthrough of the Quest for Glory series. I'm like halfway through Quest for Glory 2. And I've also, I mean, granted, it's not retro because it's a new game, but I've been playing a whole bunch of the spiritual successor to that series, which is called Hero U by Trans Solar Games, which is run by Lori and Corey Cole, who are the original designers of the Quest for Glory series. And fun fact, I'm actually talking to their publicist. We're working on setting up an interview, and the Coles are going to be the next interview on the podcast, which I'm really, really excited about. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Stay tuned as I get more details and we firm up the dates and stuff. We'll let you know. But I'm incredibly excited. That's been one of my favorite series since I was a kid, and I just look forward to not just picking their brains about that, but I am enjoying Hero U to the same degree. I'm really, really loving it, and I'm hoping that game just turns out to be the first in another, epic RPG adventure series. So we'll see.
Cool.
And then on the TV end, I actually just watched a movie I think you would love, Nick, that's on Netflix called Outlaw King.
Oh.
And it's about Robert the Bruce. And it's a Netflix original movie. Stars Chris Pine as Robert the Bruce. And he actually, I thought he'd be a terrible pick, but he's perfect for the part. And what's his face? Stephen Delane plays King Edward. Thomas Jefferson from John Adams, and Stannis Baratheon from Game of Thrones.
Wow.
It's a stellar cast, and I really enjoyed the movie. Had great battle scenes. It was, I think, as historically accurate as a dramatized movie could be. I thought they did a very good job, and it was just a damn good movie. So I highly recommend Outlaw King on Netflix. If you enjoyed Braveheart, this is kind of what came after they chopped him up, because that happens within the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Is that how it starts, basically?
Well, basically, it starts with Bruce, the failed Scots Rebellion, where they all, Wallace, has been defeated at Falkirk, and all the nobles are now swearing fealty to Edward. Mm-hmm. And then, what triggers Bruce into action is one of the, English nobles that's staying in the area rides into Bruce's city with William Wallace's leg to show them that they found him, and they cut him to pieces, and that spurs Bruce into action. Not exactly how it went down, but it's part of it, and like I said, it's very good. I think you'll enjoy it. I don't know if that's your thing, Travis, but Nick, I know you'll absolutely love it. So it's good stuff.
I'll definitely check it out.
Well, considering that my clan, my Irish clan, is supposedly descended from an 8th century Celtic warlord. Oh, I definitely do have some interest in it.
Okay, have at it then.
There you go.
Yeah, it's very good. I liked it a lot.
I have no proof of that, but that's what I've heard.
Hey, I'll take what I can get. I know on my grandmother's side, one of my ancient relative is the Mitchell clan, who fought against the Scottish king that sided with England at one point, and they rebelled against him, and we were a bunch of miscreants. It was great. But yeah, I mean, that's what I've been playing and watching. Like I said, Division 2, and then working on my Quest for Glory playthrough. I'll go more in depth in that, thanks to an idea of Travis. I'll do that a little bit later in the cast. But that's definitely a game I could gush about. So
yeah.
All right, Nick, you mentioned some Sea of Thieves. What else you been playing?
I've been playing a little game called Frostpunk. I don't know if you've heard of this or not.
I haven't played it yet.
Oh, it's I'd say it's kind of a surprise hit, because I don't think it was advertised too much, and I think I remember seeing it at PAX way back in the day. Mm-hmm. Finally got around to playing it. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Basically, the premise is it's steampunk, but it's set in kind of like this apocalypse, alternate past, future, whatever you want to call it, and the whole globe ices over. It's like some new ice age.
Ooh.
So basically, you're the mayor of the town that is surviving around like a heat, like a coal-fired, steam generator. So that's where kind of the steampunk element comes in. And so you have to build it out, but you also have to make these critical decisions along the way. So there's several I don't know. The best way to describe it is like a survival sim city almost.
Oh, okay.
And very, very brutal, because you're fighting the cold elements, so you have to manage the generator. Obviously, you're chucking coal into it all the time, but that's eating up your coal reserves, and so you have to balance maybe I shut it off for the night, and everyone kind of freezes and you possibly get frostbite. So then you have to make decisions like, okay, do we want to provide medical service or do we want to start chopping limbs off?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it starts, it gets a little dark. I wouldn't say it's as dark as like if you've ever heard of This War of Mine, like don't ever play that game.
Oh really?
Depressed. It's not that level of it, but again, you're kind of making all these decisions. You're quickly trying to rapidly build up and like manage all the people, and then and it's just like a rapid kind of resource management on all levels, both in terms of like not only like raw resources, but like heat and kind of morale and whatnot. And it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Well, now you got me really interested. I've had that sitting in my list for quite some time, and I haven't gotten around to playing it yet. So I think I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Like, be prepared to like. It took me a little bit to like get the rhythm of like, okay, this is it does have like kind of a sequence to start off with, and then once you're into it, then it's like, okay, then you can kind of choose like, do I want to go this path, of technology or kind of social status of the town you're running, or go the other direction. But yeah, a lot of fun. I just be prepared to fail. Like failure, this is one of those games that you will fail a lot to try and succeed.
Dude, I played Dwarf Fortress on the regular.
There you go. Right up that alley.
Losing is fun.
Losing. And that's about all the the real time outside of like my usual like Sea of Thieves, World of Warships still. But I'm gonna be probably looking to jump back into Borderlands. Obviously,
that's right.
Jumping a little bit ahead, but obviously PAX announced the Gearbox at its panel announced Borderlands 3, so I'll probably be jumping into doing some Borderlands 1 and 2, which are getting a remaster.
And I believe if you have it on Steam, you're getting those for free.
Correct. Yeah, if you already own it, you will get all the updates for free. So it's going to get all this new remastering. It's going to look, it's going to look great.
Great.
So yeah, I think I'm going to replay through that, just kind of refresh myself. I think tomorrow, which will be April the 3rd, so whenever we get this out, but I think April the 3rd, they're having I want to say the official announcement for when the release date for Borderlands 3 might be.
Okay.
That seems to be the going thing. But I think also tomorrow is when they also release the remastered version. So
oh shit!
Probably by the time people hear this, if you own it already, you can download it and get the remastered version of 1, 2, and the pre-sequel, which I think was part of like extension of 2.
That's awesome.
Well, I'll have to get this out tonight, and then your statement will be very accurate.
There you go. And then movie wise, I actually watched a little. I'd say it's like a B movie.
I love this movie.
But if you're a fan of Bruce Campbell, Bubba Hotep.
Bubba Hotep.
It is so good.
I love this movie.
Like I remember, like it was advertised so long ago, and I never got around to watching it. But I think it was on. I watched it on Amazon, and it's like, oh yes, Bruce. I can't put down a good Bruce Campbell.
You can't avoid a good Bruce Campbell movie.
No.
And it's full on B movie, but man, it is classic Bruce Campbell. And
I love it.
It's basically like Elvis in a retirement home, with like kind of reincarnation of President Kennedy. And they're fighting this mummy that's been like sucking the life out of like all the old home retirement home inhabitants.
If you're listening and this sounds insane, I'll just say this: Kyle has probably seen it. And you all know how he feels about Evil Dead. It's one of his favorite movies. If you like that kind of silliness, you got to see this movie. It's Bruce Campbell. Someone just said, hey, can you do us a favor and be Bruce Campbell for 2 hours? Yeah, it's great. I'm going to have to watch that now.
It is so good.
Absolutely is.
Well, all right. Now I know what I'm doing tonight while I edit and get this out. I'll be watching Bubba Hotep. All right. So that's kind of what we've been up to, and getting back up to speed with how Travis has been. Obviously, it's been a very, very crazy week and weekend in video gaming. One of the things we want to highlight now is PAX East. I know I mentioned on the past 2 episodes or so I wasn't going to be able to go because they were planning a release for my job, for work, and that wound up falling through at the last minute. So I still had to sit home while the boys had fun, but they represented pretty well. And I'm actually very excited to hear about all the stuff you saw, guys, because I've kind of been, away from my PC most of the weekend. I was very busy, and I didn't really want to spoil any of the surprises that you guys might reveal. So I actually haven't even read much about PAX. I mean, obviously I know about Borderlands 3. I couldn't avoid that if I tried. But, so yeah, I'd be very interested to hear what you guys saw and what some of your highlights were.
All right. Why don't you take this one first off? I'll go after.
All right. Yeah. So as the veteran PAX guys, I went all 4 days, and my God, I don't feel my legs anymore. But man, do I always love going to PAX. I think this is I want to say this is the first year they're doing 4 days at PAX East. I think Prime has been doing for like 2 or 3 years now. But I want to say this is the first year that East was doing it. So, I started on Thursday. Super chill on Thursday. Like, if I do it again, I'll probably won't do all 4 days again. I'll probably like kind of break it up a little bit. But yeah, Thursday was super chill. Like almost no crowds. It was actually like the perfect day to try and go and like do almost everything. Granted, I walked around and did like a lot of filming and like, I had my camera with me and whatnot. But the
real
indie
quick, if you're
section,
going to put that up on YouTube or Twitch, let me know. Like, put it in the Discord.
Yeah, we'll do.
I'll put it in the links for this episode when we publish it. I think people would love to see that.
Sure. Yeah. I think I did a little bit of a preview last night of just the floor footage. Didn't really have too much game footage itself. I didn't, like the following days, like all the equipment is like, I'd say fairly heavy. It's also me practicing with it.
Sure.
But yeah, I'll throw up like a vid link or something from stream yesterday. But yeah, like the indie section, I always love the indie section no matter what, but it definitely felt a lot bigger than previous years. And a lot of cool games in there. It felt like there's a big kind of push for these retro looking games. So I had kind of like these pixel looking games in I'm gonna start going through these cards here that I have in front of me, but basically a Star Renegade was one.
That looks so cool.
It's kind of like an RPG style setup to that. That looked pretty cool.
I want
Didn't get
that
to play
bad.
it. Didn't get to play it, but it looked awesome. I definitely want to see like more of that. Let's see what else we got here. Eagle Island. I can't remember the guy's name, but basically the Angry Video Game Nerd was there. He had like an entire, like, I guess he has like a booth or a gaming dev team. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily under him, but he like works with them. A lot of cool stuff there. So they had a game called Eagle Island. And a few others, again, very retro looking, and looked really, really awesome. So like check those out. Let's see what else we got here. Daedalic had a lot of games there. Looked pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah. One of them I already played. The Long Journey Home. I've played that. That's a fun one. They had some other ones that looked good. Barrow Trauma. It's kind of like a space survival 2D side scroller that looked really good. Several other ones. A lot of VR. VR is like, VR is making a huge push these days.
That's what I've heard on a few casts is there's a big VR presence in comparison to previous years.
Exactly. And there it is. In one game called Kaisuo, Kaisuo, basically it was like a VR game, but it was like a kind of a puzzle solving, almost like Myst-like. It's kind of like, you think Myst, but in VR.
That sounds
kind of
fun.
like, updated tech. So, you were like, turning cranks and, doing all these puzzles and whatnot. And it looked really, really cool.
Oh, that sounds really great.
So like, if I ever get, I am like on the border of getting a VR headset. I just got to make the dive.
I've already told Dan that's all I want for Father's Day is a Rift, the Oculus Rift. I got to borrow Luke's back in December when I got the new PC. And it is phenomenal. It's the best experience I've had in video gaming since I played my first video game.
Yeah, it seriously does revolutionize the whole feeling of gaming.
Yeah.
The only problem is it's still nowhere close to being utilized as well as it could be.
It's getting there though.
It's getting closer.
Rift and I think Sony are sneaking leaks that I think the next version of their headsets are going to be wireless.
Oh, nice.
Which
that should be cool.
Yeah, I think Rift has one already. It's a new. You have to buy like the module in addition to whatever.
Oh,
it is.
okay.
But they do have a wireless version.
Yeah, I mean that to me was like it was not a huge hang up by any means, but it was a minor pain in the ass. But I'm also shitty with my wires, so it'd be kind of a mess whether I have VR or not. But yeah, no, that's all I want for Father's Day, man. I was using it, believe it or not. I was playing the Creed boxing game, and I was actually using that for daily exercise, and it was working. Holy shit, was it working? That will make you sweat. But yeah, that's awesome. If you could, man, any games that you saw noteworthy on those cards, send them to me because I would like to reach out to the developers, especially the indie retro ones. And
yeah, absolutely.
Queue them up, see if they want to do some interviews. Maybe we can get some preview copies and check some of these out as they get further along.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. So yeah, just throw that in the Discord when you get a chance, and I'll do some homework.
Will do.
So that was your highlights?
Yeah, amongst other things, I went through a lot of panels, kind of like content creator stuff. So, getting my learn on for like, doing stream stuff, doing, more stuff with the podcast here. And
good for you.
And then hanging out with a whole bunch of people, had some viewers from my own stream stop by. Went to like a wargaming event, so it was nice to like see them in person, say hi and catch up a little bit. Obviously, running into Kyle at least.
Yeah,
I wish. Sorry,
I wish I was there because I wanted to organize kind of a get together between us, and I know Captain Mike and Glovebox were both at PAX. Glovebox was actually he was a PAX enforcer, and he was in the classic gaming room where like all the systems were.
Yeah, the rental, the classic rentals.
Yeah, he was in there, and so yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry I couldn't go, and I know they wound up getting busy anyway, so they probably wouldn't be able to hook up with us this time around. But I would definitely like to go next year and hook up with them and some other podcasts that we're becoming pals with that push us and some listeners too. Like our buddy Al was there, Al Vogue, that came on and did a cast with us the one night. He was doing a lot of the board gaming and card gaming. So yeah, that sounds awesome. Did you get to talk to anybody, Nick, like developer wise?
Basically like when they were in their booths a little bit, just talking about their games. Let's see, I don't know if they have their card. Oh, there we go. Tribes of Midgard was another one. It was like in an early alpha state. Like basically they had just finished putting it together in time for a demo version to have at PAX. So they didn't even have all their stuff, and they're basically, I think they're slated for sometime mid next year as like an official release date. But basically, it's a really, really cool concept. You're playing, I think it's up to a 4-player co-op. You're all part of this, like, this Viking tribe, and basically it's a kind of top-down, almost isometric, and you're controlling your warrior on screen, and basically you go out and you collect supplies. There's a day-night cycle, so at night, like animals and whatnot attack your village. So you have to build up defenses or just fend them off. But then, like, there's a bigger threat of these huge giants, like from the mythos. So, like, exactly. So they actually had an ice giant for their demo. They came in at like day 4 or 5 or something like that, and so they're all like hacking away. And that's like that kind of like the premise behind it. Looked really cool. Can't wait to see like more from these guys. They were like really excited. And really like it was like like they were really happy, ecstatic that the game was like working. Like I couldn't tell.
I know that feeling, brother. I've been
like,
there.
It's like, I compliment them. It's like this actually looks really, really good, and it's like it seems to be working really well, especially for the fact that like apparently put it together, or got it up and running, just in time for PAX. So it's like I definitely want to see more.
Definitely give me the name of them too, because I would love to reach out to them. I think that's just from what you're saying, that sounds really fun and really interesting, and it might be a good one to keep our eye on, and just again, maybe as they get closer and they want to talk about it more. I mean, because I love Norse mythos. I could talk hours of that shit with anybody, And yeah, I'm playing what is it, Viking Wolves of Midgard off and
Oh,
on.
nice.
That's a fun Diablo-esque Viking action RPG.
Nice.
Yeah, I was enjoying that. So I'm eager to see, because it seems like, thanks to Vikings on History Channel,
Yeah, kind of a rebirth of it.
kind of a renaissance of Viking lore and gaming. So I'm excited to see what happens. Cool. Well,
Nice.
what about you, Mr. T?
Well, I can't remember the names of most of the games that I played. The ones that do stick out, I know this one's already released, but My Time in Portia.
Good game.
Yeah, this one is definitely my perfect game. It's basically, to me so far, it seemed like a 3D Stardew Valley.
It's a pretty good assessment.
Yeah, so that works for me because Stardew Valley is freaking awesome. So
I might even have an extra key for that. I'll let you know.
All right, yeah, keep me posted. And then also at the same booth, at the Team 17th booth, I tried a game called Monster Sanctuary, which ended up, it turned out it was almost like a, sort of like a side-scrolling Pokemon RPG type game.
Interesting.
But it's seemed a little more in-depth, whereas like Pokemon, you know, your Pokemon can have different moves and everything that they evolve into, and
right.
But like with this, you can actually, every monster that you get on your team can have their very own skill tree and their own spells and their own abilities and everything. So it seemed really cool. I didn't get to play it all that much because I didn't want to be hogging up a machine. But it seemed really, really interesting. So I'm hoping that I can get my hands on that. There is a demo on Steam for that right now.
Okay.
But I'm hoping I'm going to keep my eye out for it and hopefully pick it up as soon as that hits early access, because it was, what I did play of it was a blast.
Monster Sanctuary. I'm gonna start bookmarking some of these.
You hear that, Jeremy? You hear that?
Yeah, you hear that, Jeremy? That's me this time, brother. That's not me this time. Oh, that looks good. That looks real good. All right.
And cool. I mean, the art styles, that classic, I'm going to go with 12-bit because it's not exactly 8 and it's not exactly 16. So I'm going with 12.
Like a Master System, but better.
Sort of, yeah. Sort of.
That looks nice.
There was that. I checked out a couple panels. One was how gaming has helped my family. And it was basically mostly people. It was just filled with people who are gamers and whose kids are gamers, and how they kind of use that to, strengthen their family bond and everything, which is really cool. And then I also went to one about like strengthening your brand. It's called The Audacity of Hype.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I don't have a brand personally, but I am still doing the whole community management thing.
But you're part of one.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm doing the whole community management thing for Good for Gaming still, and trying to use that to kind of help us, branch out a little bit and see if we can get some more people, involved in the group and more people paying attention to what we're doing. So, yeah, that's that.
We're growing, that's for sure.
The food was stupid expensive.
I heard that. I heard it was crazy.
Dude, I got a Gatorade and 2 hot dogs. It cost me $18.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not kidding you at all.
Yeah. You got to pay amusement park prices in the center.
Fuck that. I'll bring my own hot dog. It'd have been sitting there for 2 days in my suitcase. I don't give a fuck. Call the cops.
Just heat it up by putting it under your armpit.
Exactly. You got to have goals.
But now it was, all in all, PAX was a lot of fun, but it was a very expensive trip. And don't drive in Boston. That place sucks.
Oh, yep.
Oh, dude. That's what it says. Like, literally, I wiki voyage. You go to wikivoyage.org. I do that for every place I'm going to go to that I haven't been before. And it's literally in bold letters. Unless you live there, don't drive in Boston.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, Boston is an absolute nightmare. Like, the city's so vertical, so like, you have like roads above you, roads below you, roads to the left, right. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah, and like you can't stop yourself from blocking the box. Like, it's impossible.
Oh yeah.
And then, of course, you want to make a left turn, but you're in the middle lane and nobody, not a single soul will let you in. So you basically have to like get out of your car, go stand in front of them, leave your leg out there while you press the gas with your hand, and turn the wheel just slightly so you can get into the lane. It's so bad. So very, very bad. But the city is beautiful. The city is very beautiful. The hotel we stayed at was really nice. It was like, had the lobby had like these ornate woodwork and stuff.
Oh, cool.
It was nice. It was nice.
Awesome.
But yeah, I had a good time. I honestly don't know if I'll go back next year, but I probably will go back sometime. It all depends on just timing and finances and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, if things work out for me the way I'm hoping they will, I definitely plan on going back. Or going, I should say, for the first time. And I'd love to go, as the group of us, because you know me when it comes to whoring out projects. I will have shirts made for us, and what I'm really trying to do, and that's why I was kind of bummed about not going, but one of the things I was kind of working on if I was going to go, I reached out to Richard Garriott because I talked to him on Twitter. I was wondering if he was going to go because he lives in New York now. And
okay.
It just so happened that he had prior engagements, but I'd love to make it to where between now and next PAX, some of the developers of these games that we're talking about, I'd like to reach out to them and follow these games and, talk to them a little more. And, once PAX gets closer, if they're going to show release stuff, it would be cool to be, one of the cast that gets to get on the floor with them and talk about their game and let them go crazy with it, kind of like Nick was saying, I love when I get to see developers so excited to show off, the stuff they've been working on. So I definitely want to go next year, and I am really, really going to do everything I can to make that happen. So we'll see. We'll see what
cool.
happens.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you guys had a good time. I'm glad, nobody got hurt. Not that you guys are the crazy party animals that your host used to be. We always had a Nick to pull us out and drive us home.
That's right.
God, we owe you lunches, man. That's all we gotta say. We owe you a lot of lunches. But I'm glad you guys had a good time. And you've definitely got a list of games I plan on following up on. So, yeah, I would probably be spending 90% of my time in the indie panel because just the stuff that's coming out of these companies, like these retro feel games, I mean, that's what we love. I mean, that's what I love. And the stuff they're doing with them is so interesting and such a cool take on, stuff that you're just not going to see AAA games doing. These people are taking some big risks. Like that one you showed me, Travis, Kinseed.
Oh, yeah.
Man, am I watching how that one goes, because that's got huge potential.
Yeah, that game looks so sick.
And it's a bit of a sidetrack, but have you played Graveyard Keeper?
I haven't played it yet. I'm sorry. I need to play it, but I have not yet.
Yeah, it's like Stardew Valley. It's more like Kinseed graphically, and it's kind of like Stardew Valley in concept, except you're a graveyard keeper. And it's awesome. I think you'll like it. Anyway,
it's only $20, so yeah, I might as well just pick that up. It looks awesome though.
I think you can get it for free on Game Pass.
I don't have Game Pass anymore.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, I did just to play Forza for a couple months, but once I stopped playing that, religiously, I stopped paying for Game Pass because that was the only thing on there that I really wanted.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, it's very cool. It's easily worth the $20. I got to finish that one.
Cool.
I played about a quarter of the way through it. Very cool concepts in that game. Anyway, sorry for the sidetrack. All right, so that's our PAX take. Obviously, there's so much that has come out from that I know people have beaten to death. Like I said, Borderlands 3. I think we're absolutely going to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
I mean, Christ. And you know what? Some of the complaints I've heard is like, oh, it just looks like more Borderlands. And my answer to that is, and?
Yeah, right. That's what we've been asking for.
The problem is, this is probably, it looks like they're going to do what a lot of people hope these companies do, and that's give us a worthy sequel. Maybe it does a couple new things, but it doesn't go too crazy, and it just gives us more of what we want. And, in the case of Borderlands, that's a good thing. So I'm excited to see what happens with that.
I got dibs on the robot.
Robot with legs.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see where that goes.
Or the gun is gun with legs.
Gun with legs.
Gun with legs.
Awesome.
That is fantastic. Oh man, yeah, it looks good. But all right, it is definitely we have this movie trailer week. I totally agree. Holy crap, there's so much coming in the very near future. I didn't put the first one, and I'll be the first to tell you I haven't seen any of these movies. I know I'm missing out. And I gotta watch it.
I mean, and they're full action flicks, but yeah, the John Wick 3 trailer, I think I dropped it actually about 2 weeks ago is when I originally put this in, but yeah, it's looking sick.
Yeah, I gotta watch the first two. My dad loves those movies, and he's actually a really good connoisseur of action flicks, so I'm definitely gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's worth it because it actually has kind of this nice lore undertone, and then, yeah, I mean, Keanu Reeves and the whoever the stunt coordinator is like absolutely awesome with like all the fight scenes, is like super top notch.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then there's that, and then in about 2 months, it was just recently announced they're releasing Deadwood the movie, which is going to finally provide some closure to the Deadwood series, which kind of, it ended on a note, it was a bit abrupt for anybody that did watch the original series, and this looks like it's going to tie together all the loose ends. I'm excited because it was like one of my father-in-law's favorite shows, and he's the gruffiest, like, manly man guy, and my wife was talking to him, and I said, "Yo, Pop," I said, "You see they got a Deadwood movie coming the end of May?" He goes, "Date night!" so him and I are going to go get a pizza and go see the Deadwood movie. That comes out May 31st.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then, man, have you guys seen the trailers for the Pet Sematary remake that hits this weekend?
I think I've seen bits and pieces, yeah.
Holy shit. Like, in every review I have read has said, like, it prefaces with, yes, it changes things from the book. I don't really give a shit about that. But they're like, this is one of it's the scariest Stephen King adaptation that's been done. And if you saw It Part 1, that was pretty fucking creepy. Like, the It remake, that was awesome.
Yeah, is it kind of like in that vein? Like, because
yes.
I'm always leery when suddenly, like, I say it's for all intents and purposes a remake, comes out. It's like, is it gonna be good, or are they just gonna like totally drive this thing into the ground because Hollywood likes to rehash old stuff?
From everything I've read in every review, I mean, I'm not seeing one bad take. The only like real bad takes I've seen are from like, I'm part of a couple of Stephen King constant reader groups, and it's the same purists that bitched that the first the It Part 1 remake sucked because they made it more modern day. Like, dude, that was like one of my favorite parts about it, because like, if they followed the book word for word, one of the characters is scared to death of the Lawrence Talbot werewolf. Like, nobody's scared of that anymore. Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing, like with older material, you have to somehow update it to make it more relevant to modern audiences. Like, I have no problem with that.
No, and it sounds like, I mean, they did change a major part as far as the character of the child in the movie, but everything I read said this girl absolutely nails it, and she is chilling. So, I can't wait. I cannot wait. It looks great. John Lithgow is playing Judd, which has me completely excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you know the character I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, from the first one. I forget the guy's name, but the guy that played him in the first Pet Sematary was Ute. What's a Ute? From My Cousin
Joe
Vinny.
Pesci. Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci. Oh, no, the judge.
The judge.
The guy was the judge. Yeah, I don't remember his name.
But yeah, the guy that played the judge played Judd. And so John Lithgow is playing the same role, and it looks perfect. I can't wait to see it. I'm trying to figure out who we're dumping the kids off on, so my wife and I can go see this on Saturday or Friday. Can't wait. All right, who put the next one? This might have been Kyle.
No, it's actually me.
My wife is so excited for this, by the way.
Dude, I cannot wait.
Actually, it technically wasn't a trailer, but it was an announcement from Keanu Reeves and I can't remember the other actor's
Alex
name,
Winter.
Alex Winter.
Alex
yeah.
Winter.
Alex Winter. Yeah, so basically they did confirm Bill and Ted 3 is going to start filming soon and look to release sometime next year.
Cannot freaking wait.
I'm going to see it. And my wife will drag me if I don't. So
I
going
expect
to line
nothing
up
out of
for
this,
that.
but as long as it's like just that Bill and Ted excellent. I think they even got I'm like crashing on actor's name, but a guy who played Death and too.
Yeah, what's his name?
William Sadler.
Yes, yeah. Apparently he's tapped for reprising his role. So like, you're stuck by battleship.
I wonder if they can call the guy that played Rufus.
Yeah, I don't think so. Bad take, dude. Bad take.
I know.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, what are they gonna do about that? Like, are they gonna?
Yeah.
Have
well, maybe Death will take his place. I mean, he did in real life.
Could. Yeah, who knows? But the next one, just gonna have a more hilarious. Doom is apparently getting another movie, but this is a direct-to-video, and it looks just as bad.
I know we talked. I'm 99% sure you and I talked about this on a previous episode. That looks like hot shit and garbage.
Yes, it does.
Please tell me it's produced by Yui Boll.
I don't think it is this time.
I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm joking. But I seriously think Boll would do a better job.
I don't think that's possible.
Dude,
I understand. I understand, but I don't know, man. Have you seen Blood Rain?
I've seen Alone in the Dark.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both horrible. Okay. Far Cry had some redeeming factors. Anthony Bourdain was in it. But yeah, no, this looks like something that even Boll would be like, yeah, I ain't touching that.
But we'll bring it back around to probably the big one, which is Avengers now just less than a month away.
Yeah, Avengers that's gonna be great.
Endgame.
So I think when Endgame comes out, I'm going to start the entire Marvel series.
Apparently,
I've seen like 2 of them.
There are some theaters that are doing a complete marathon. I think it's like something like 59 hours. I think of all the previous movies. It's like holy crap! And I think Avengers is now being slated at 3 hours.
Oh wow!
So, wow! Prepare your piss bucket.
Yeah, right.
That was like when Lord of the Rings came out. Did we go to that together where they did the marathon for Return of the King?
Not me, no.
No? I might have went with somebody else then. But yeah, when Return of the King hit theaters, there were a couple theaters around here that were actually showing all 3.
And that was like 12, 13 hours, wasn't
it? Yeah, that was, yeah.
Well, all in with the Return of the King, obviously.
Yeah, that was a long trip. It was a long trip. We'll just say that. But that's cool. That's very cool. All right. I don't know if we want to go too deep into the game releases, because we're kind of in between release weeks now. Like Sekiro came out last week. Apparently that's very good.
Yep, doing good.
I would love to play it, just like I'd love to play all the Souls games, and I end up playing them for 5 minutes and going, fuck this game.
I hear Sekiro is much more forgiving than your typical Souls game. So
see, I've heard it was harder.
Really?
Yeah, maybe it just depends on what review you read, but the one I read was like...
I guess it does play differently, so it might just be what people are used to versus what they're not.
Yeah, I might give it a try if I can nab it on sale, but I don't know. Like, I've had Dark Souls 3, and every now and then I'm like, I'm going to install that, give that a try. And then it takes me a half hour to beat the first boss battle, and I'm like, yeah, this game ain't for me. Yep. That boss battle's within the first 5 minutes of the game, and it's kicking my ass. So, yeah. And then I guess this other one might be you, Nick. Satisfactory.
Yep, Satisfactory. Also in early access. It's kind of a building game. I think it's going to have survival elements, but it's in early access. Looks pretty cool. I'm kind of waiting to see a little more from it before I put down, only because I've done so many early access stuff.
Yeah,
And it's kind of following the same path. It's like, okay, I can see where it's going. They have a roadmap, they have a plan, but it's like, yeah, I'm gonna wait for them to, flesh out a little more before I put down it. But it's definitely looks really, really cool. It's if you've ever played Factorio,
I was gonna say it looks a lot like Factorio.
yeah, it's basically a FPS Factorio.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's definitely like, yeah, I want to get this game. It's just like right now, it's like, you can only build to a certain point, and then you're at the end of the content that's early access available. So it's like, okay, it's on my radar very solidly. I just want to see a little more, put in or closer to launch maybe before I finally put down. So
yeah, my old coworker that works at the company Travis and I worked at together is like obsessed with Factorio. So I'm sure he's got an eye on this. But yeah, I've never played that. I'm not sure if it's something I'd like, but I might give it a try if I can get a hold of it cheap. It might be something I can become obsessed with. Who knows?
It seems like if you enjoyed like SimCity 2000, you'd probably like Factorio.
Okay. Well, maybe I gotta give it a shot then. I loved games like that, so I guess we'll see. Alright, well that is all the exciting stuff happening in games and movies and everything else. We do have some news. Ooh, that's what it's been missing this whole time. Travis doot-de-doot.
Yep.
So obviously it's kind of old news at this point, but Google Stadia has been announced. It is their game streaming cloud gaming service. I know I'm at the risk of sounding very old. But
old man yell at the clouds.
I'm highly skeptical at this point. But I will preface with, I think if any company could pull it off because they have shit tons of money to burn, it would be Google.
Yep.
I think from the perspective of gaming, it's probably the only avenue that makes sense for another big company to come on board and compete in the quote-unquote compete in the quote-unquote console market. And I think it makes more sense for Google to use their already existing infrastructure than to try to build a console from scratch. So I could see why they're doing this, but I feel I don't think the U.S. broadband infrastructure is there yet.
That's my biggest clutch point of it. Is like it
not
sounds great on paper, and like I would definitely want to like see it in practice, but it's like it's exactly that. Like the infrastructure is not there. Like not everyone has access to.
Not everybody lives in Austin, Dallas, and California.
And even then, like some other it's not just being in a city. Like some city infrastructure just is absolute crap.
Sure.
And so it's like, and even within neighborhoods, I mean, there's always like, Grant, I don't have those issues, but I've known other people who've like lived in a neighborhood who's like, yeah, I have like fiber and the best thing ever. And then it's like,
and the guy across the street has shit.
Yeah. Well, it was
he's
like,
on the other side of the road.
Well, it's that, and you're all also on the same note. So like they always complain, like it's like around 4 or 5 p.m. at like kind of like the start of peak time. They're like, oh, my downloads go to crap. It's like because everyone's on the same node. It's like you're still dealing with the same problems. Like it doesn't matter, you're on fiber.
Yeah, and not only that, you have that problem, and then you have data caps, which I'm still constrained by. And Google's like, oh, 4K streaming. Really? How the fuck are you going to do that? With, there are very few. I mean, I think my local ISP could handle the bandwidth, but I would hit my data cap in like a week of solid playing.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's just not there yet. And I think the only way I see this working is if Google realizes that 6 months in and says, well, fuck you, U.S. broadband infrastructure, and then starts building their own.
Well, I mean, they were, but apparently they stopped.
Well, but that's the thing. I think if there's anything that's going to start that back up, is this. Because this is going to really give them a face-first view of how bad the infrastructure is.
Right.
And Yeah, it sounds great on paper, but you're not going to be able to support the insane cost of that infrastructure just on, the 5 cities in this country and maybe 8 rural areas that have half decent broadband infrastructure. It's just not enough. You're not going to have a big enough customer base. I don't think they're going to be able to run this efficiently enough to gain back on their investment. I just don't think it's ready yet. And I know I sound old and like get off my lawn, but I'm also very intimately involved in my career at points in the telecom and broadband infrastructure. And I know what it is, and I know what it looks like. And granted, I haven't worked in that industry in about 8 years, but I can tell you with 100% surety, it hasn't changed. It hasn't evolved. They haven't upgraded shit. It's still running on the same old lines. They haven't really expanded. I mean, my area is a perfect example. They're offering faster throughput on the same highly stressed infrastructure with shitty data caps and for exorbitant prices. I mean, it's over $100 a month for a 500 meg down, 500 megabit down, 10 megabit up connection. It's over $100.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
Yep.
Like I think I have 115 down, 15 up for $45 a month.
Man, I wish.
Yeah, I mean, Nick knows. I mean, he lives kind of in the same. I mean, granted, you're further south of me, but we're dealing with the same
It's
shit.
Same thing, yeah.
The same shithole company, Pencor,
Like,
who I hate.
It's like they're the only ones around, and they know it, and they're like, let's. This is the only price you can pay.
Yep.
Is that a Penn Teledata service company?
Yes, Penn Teledata is owned by Pencor. They're owned by Pencor.
What a bunch of garbage.
And I hope they all wake up with syphilis. The executives. I know the people working on the ground are doing the best they can, but you work for a shithole, unethical, horrible company.
Yeah. Yeah. I was so. When we moved 2 years ago, my only requirement was we have to move somewhere where they have RCN. That was literally my only requirement, and we got it. And RCN is banging, dude. They are fantastic.
Yeah. Blue Ridge is a nightmare. PTD is a nightmare. They're all owned by the same company, and they have not done anything to further their infrastructure except squeeze the money out of everybody in these areas because they're the only game in town, because I think they've literally legislated it so that nobody else can come in.
Sounds about right.
I hope they die. I hope something horrible happens where that company just goes tits up and somebody else has to come in and take this over. They're horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, Google Stadia. It ain't going to work around here.
Nope. Definitely not.
Next news item, and I think a lot of people are already familiar with this, we are seeing a surprisingly fast shift towards developers going towards Epic Store exclusives. Maybe not unlimited exclusives, but timed exclusives. And I'm very surprised. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I'm very surprised at the speed of which Epic is starting to pick up very key releases and becoming a competitor with Steam in this space. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, just within since the start of the year, really, it's basically come out swinging. It seems, because like the first game, at least for me, was Metro Exodus. Like that was kind of like the first big hubbub around that, in terms of like it was originally on Steam. You could pre-order on Steam.
Yep. And
then I think was it a month ahead of time, they announced like, we're launching on the Epic Store. Your Steam purchase will be accepted. It'll be transferred to Epic.
Yep.
Now, for me, I actually didn't pre-order. Like you were talking about earlier, how we're less liable to pre-order stuff. Like I haven't pre-ordered yet. I was like waiting for actual like launch week.
Yeah.
And thank goodness I did, because I didn't have to go through the whole like switchover mess. But I still picked up Metro Exodus. Like, and I know some people are like, oh, if it's Steam or bust, it's like from my perspective, it's like I don't really care.
I don't really care. I just want to play the fucking game.
And supposedly there's rumors that the Epic Store spies on you, but let's be honest, like there's probably things in Steam that
I was
going to
say, you don't think Steam isn't? Give me a break. Give me a break.
It's like if you have installed something on your system, it's probably doing some kind of like, you know, spooky spy stuff. It is
collecting data.
Yeah, it's like welcome to the internet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So from that perspective,
the same person that'll bitch about that will go fill out a Facebook thing with, this first one, you know, your name is this, and the last 4 digits of your security number are this.
Yeah. It's like, that's the thing too. Like, if you're using Facebook, if you're using Twitter, it's like, give up now. It's like your information's out there. It's like, come on, find a better battle.
Not only that, but using Google. Like, I Google one thing on my phone, and all of a sudden it's becoming ads for me on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, it knows. It's all interconnected. If anything, like my only clutch point is like, okay, it's another launcher I have to do, and my game libraries are separated. So it's like, oh, I want to play this game. What launcher is it actually under, type of thing. Granted, most of the stuff is still on Steam anyway, but I could see over time, especially the way Epic Store is going, you know, I'll probably, you know, end up picking more stuff up via the Epic Store. You know, I'll go with like whatever's cheaper or whatever comes out first. You know, there's no preference on my book, but it'll be a matter of like, where is this thing? But I mean, I have other games that have their own proprietary launcher. I mean, Warships has, you know, Wargaming has their own.
How long have we been using GOG and GOG Launcher?
Yeah, GOG has theirs. Blizzard has theirs.
Yeah, Battle.net. I don't give a shit.
The list goes on, so it's like I don't know. I feel like that argument is a bit weak. It's kind of a straw man theory.
Totally weak, because to me it's like, all right, I'm just installing another shopping mall rather than driving to one, and
exactly.
I can sit on my fat ass and compare prices.
Like, is it inconvenient? Yeah, for about 5 seconds, and taking to figure like, oh, it's not here, it's over there. Click, go.
Click the checkbox to install an icon on your desktop and shut your fucking mouth when you install.
Yeah, exactly.
That way you don't even have to worry which one. It'll come up automatically.
But I will say, I'm all for competition. Competition is good. I mean, we're talking about like the monopolies of the internet providers. Like, I think this is a helpful thing, because I think Metro they're being cheaper, like by $10 or something, or I don't know. Some game was like $10 cheaper on Epic Store versus Steam. It's like, okay, this is good. This is provide some competition. Put Steam on notice. They like, I have a problem with that.
Yeah, you're not the only game in town anymore.
And maybe it'll help clean up Steam, because let's be honest, God. Like Steam has been kind of a shit show in terms of like there's what was it, that one rape game that was
and dude, how many Russian...
they didn't allowed to go out, but still it's like, why is that even on there? Like come on.
And all the Russian like shit show scam games, like there's one.
Oh yeah.
I just saw the other day, it came up in my feed. It was like Dharma Simulator. And it was a complete ripoff of just the computer screen in Lost. Like, unlicensed. And it's like, what happens if you don't enter the number? And the funniest part was the reviews just trashing it. They're like, A, this is intellectual property theft. B, it's a bunch of asshole Russians doing it. And C, they're like, it's literally just putting in the stupid numbers. And they're charging you $15.
Good Lord.
Yeah, no. So I'm all about competition. I'm with you there. Travis, do you have any take on that? Are you still there? All right, Nick, are you still there?
I'm here.
Did Travis die?
Hello?
Travis?
Earth to Travis.
Somebody went for a pee break and didn't tell us.
Yeah, I'm freaking tired. I've been up since 2:00 this morning, so.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe I'll save my Quest for Glory retrospective, and we'll do that old school review. We're gonna play with a new feature on the cast that Travis had recommended. I really love the idea of kind of doing a deep dive of one of the older games or game series that we love to play, and was planning on kind of taking the helm here with the Quest for Glory series, since I will be interviewing Lori and Corey Cole, but maybe that might be a little bit of overkill. A, Travis is falling asleep, and B, I'm going to be interviewing them anyway, so maybe we'll save that for another time. Normally from here we'd move on to voicemails. We actually have no voicemails this week. I think with PAX and just everything else, and moving things around, we just really didn't have time to push out that we were recording. So if you do want to call and leave us a voicemail and answer a question of the bye week, you can call 610-810-1654 and leave your thoughts or rant about, too many game stores, whatever you want to do. And we'll talk about it on here. But at that, we'll move on to our final thoughts, conclusions, shout-outs, and I'll send it over to you first, Nick. Are you working on anything you want to promote? Or anybody you want to shout out that you saw at PAX?
Shout out to all my viewers that came out and say hi. Like, it's always awesome to see, some of the fans out there. Not working on anything specific at the moment. But let's see what I'm gonna play. So yeah, I'm probably gonna look to pick up Sekiro. I'm gonna torture myself.
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that.
I'll probably look to do that maybe starting next week. But like I said, I'm gonna look to get into the Borderlands, kind of revisit that. Probably do that later this week and check that out. So that's what's coming up on my stream.
Nice,
cool.
How about you, Travis?
Couple of promotions. I have gotten back into the YouTube game. I am actually playing Disgaea and Shining Force Neo for YouTube on separate channels. I'm doing content for both my personal channel as well as the Good for Gaming community channel. Probably toss some links in the show notes.
Yeah. Put the links in Discord. I'll put them in the show notes.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Check our show notes on the post. Get the link.
Yeah. We doing shout outs now too? Or
yep.
Okay. I want to shout out you guys for keeping this cast strong while I have been away gallivanting. And also definitely shout out to you, Al, for graciously letting me use your PAX pass over the weekend, even though you were kind of screwed out of it. Yeah. And then naturally, shout out to everybody out there who's listening.
Awesome.
That's it. That's it for me.
All right. Yeah, I'll follow that up. Yeah, big shout out to the fans. Again, we just continue to grow, which is fantastic. Thank you all for everyone that had reached out and talked about the Christy Marks interview, said you enjoyed it. I was actually incredibly flattered when that's actually how I got in touch with Laurie and Corey Cole and their publicist, the creators of Quest for Glory, as I mentioned before. They wound up listening to the episode because obviously they worked at Sierra with Christy Marks and they were friends. And they pushed the episode and said, hey, check these guys out. They interviewed our friend Christy Marks, and then they sent the little winky face and said, hey, we do interviews too. So I was like, holy shit, okay. So a big shout out to them and Transolar Games. I'm so happy to see them still doing what they do awesome. And they're really keeping the torch going with Hero U, which I'm excited to talk to them about. I've been playing the crap out of it. You can get it on GOG. You can get it on Steam. It's called Hero U Road to Redemption. It is the official Quest for Glory successor by Laurie and Corey Cole. There are so many Easter eggs in that game to the point where I'm determined to ask them, okay, does this officially take place in Gloriana, which is the world of Quest for Glory? I'm pretty sure that it does. So it's very cool to see this is a direct continuation of that series. And if you liked Quest for Glory, you've got to check out Hero U. It's great. It's Quest for Glory meets Harry Potter, and it's a ton of fun. So big shout out to them. Sorry.
Do you think you can play Hero U without playing Quest for Glory?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Completely. There'll be a statue in the Hall of Heroes. You'll have no idea who it is. It'll just say, oh, this was this person and they did this. And you'll be like, okay, that's cool. But if you play the games, you're like, holy shit, I talked to that guy. It's nothing that you can't just pick up and play. So, yeah. Actually, thanks for asking that. Yeah, if you haven't played the Quest for Glory series, you don't need to. You can pick this up and have a ball with it.
Cool.
Shout out to our pals over at the Everyday Gamers. Always good to hear them, pushing out an episode and gaming with them, gaming with Headshot, gaming with Rockslide, and just all the crew over there. They're such great people. A big shout out to our pals at Bad Fodder Figures. Sorry I didn't get to hook up, guys, and again, I didn't get to go this year, but I do look forward to meeting you all and hanging out next year. And looking forward to doing another game night soon. We'll have to figure something out. Shout out to the boys over at Future Monkeys, Los and Beardy, and Scary, I should say, boys and gal. It was great to see they're back in the saddle. They're releasing episodes again, and they're a blast. Always fun. Yeah, Beardy McWhiskey and the Mighty Los, and Scary. I didn't really, I listened to that podcast. The first time I listened to it was the last episode they did, and they're like, yeah, we're leaving, and we're done. And I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry I listened. I scared them away. But no, check out the Future Monkeys. They're great. And then, obviously, a big shout out to the crew over at Good for Gaming, the charity group that Travis and I are both part of, the charity gaming group. Always positive, always working hard to raise money for Extra Life and other causes, able gamers. They are such great people, working, incredibly hard, having a blast doing it, but just really doing some good in this world, and it's such an honor to be a part of it and just see all the great stuff we've done already this year, and it just looks like it's going to be bigger and better, and they're awesome. Shout out to Good for Gaming. So that'll do it for shout outs and for episode 36. If you want to get in touch with us, you can go over to our game club on Facebook called called The Save Point. That's at tiny.cc/savepoint. You can email us. We're theretrorents@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at theretrorents. You can talk to me directly at retrorentsal. Nick is at Black Eagle Ops, and Travis is at SodaXBread.
You got it.
That's right. I still remember. And also, we are on Twitch. I am also on Twitch as RetroRentsAl. Kyle is on Twitch as Kibis. Nick is on Twitch as Black Eagle Ops as well. Travis, are you just Soda Bread on Twitch or SodaXBread? How do you spell that?
SodaXBread.
Oh, okay. No, I was putting in a bunch of Z's. Okay, yeah, you can also hit him up at SodaXBread on Twitch. So, yeah, hang out with us and check out our streams. I don't stream very regularly. I'm going to try to do so more soon, so we'll see what happens there. But anyway, thank you for coming out. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for being a part of the show. And for everybody that pushes us, gives us shout-outs, we thoroughly appreciate it. And we look forward to catching up with everybody again on the next episode. And hopefully we'll have another interview up soon. Till then, play games. Don't be dicks.
Wise sage advice right there.
I know, right? Nice and concise. All right, everybody. Till next time. Peace out.
Peace. Peace, peace, peace.